Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
So
odd
Caught
to,
unaware.
to be back.
But it's so good.
But it's so good to be back.
It
that's
took us
for sure.
how many weeks to come back? It took us 4 weeks, but we're back.
Well, kind of like more like 5 weeks actually.
We went off in December,
Yeah.
like the week before Christmas.
Oh, then it's more than 5 weeks.
Well, anyways,
It's
doesn't
more
matter
than
how
5
long.
weeks.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how long. We're back, and we're happy to be back. How have you guys been? Do you want to send us messages to tell us what you know? How you guys have been? How was your holidays? How is it back at work? What are your goals, Mr. Goal Setter? Have you set your
Goal
goals?
scorer. We're
sorry.
strikers.
Have you scored your goals for the week, for the year, or the next 5 years or 10 years? Mr. Praise for we just finished 2 sessions, 2 different sessions.
Two
right?
draining sessions.
Yes,
I mean,
well,
I should
you
go
know
to
them.
Dubai for the next 1 month.
Well, nothing is
Please
stopping
take
you.
me with you.
I don't understand as well.
Please take me with
Oh
you.
my!
No. We just take
Did we do
me.
the class together?
Just take me.
That's all.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
And
Just
keep what
take
she
me.
can be, she'll sort herself
To a
out.
shake, right? Take it to a
Yes.
shake.
Yes.
Aha, that works.
It was draining for me.
It was.
I mean, the last set I knew that something left me.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about the magic of doing things right. I mean, someone had actually called me to say the total turnover they did in their company last year, they've exceeded 60% in January. Just by putting into practice some of the things they learned at that meeting. So I'm excited and grateful to God, and it feels good to be back to our session.
Yes.
And I was part of the class as well, and it was a good class. So
And yes,
when next he
man.
puts it up, when next it comes out, if you're doing another one
Next year
next year,
we may actually do another one because now she's now mastered how to facilitate it. So I just put her as a facilitator, and I know she's very right. I mean, Gala is doing. I mean, she's grown so well right now, and she can literally facilitate those classes.
Thank you.
The people told me the review session he had with them.
Oh, really?
It was really good.
Oh,
It was really good.
I'm honored.
Kamsahamnida.
So you can tell I'm having a good time, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry. So before we left, what did we? What was the first? Should I say session or the first topic that took forever?
It was abuse.
It was abuse.
Abuse,
Yes. And it needed to take as long
We
as it
literally
needed
did
to
it
take.
for like
2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the matter of abuse is the abuse of the
And we
matter.
still didn't even.
I don't even
Nah.
think we even like
We didn't-
completed,
nah.
but we
We're
just
scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Till we
Yeah.
ended the year.
Yeah, because we didn't even talk about incest. There's so many things we didn't talk about
Oh, yeah.
because it's much deeper. But I mean, I hope that where we got to at least got people thinking. And this new series is about love.
Yes, because it's February.
Yes.
It's the month of love, or is it?
Well, that's what they say, but I mean, because I'm wondering what January,
Those are the questions.
what January,
Or
January would have been the month of goal scoring. February is love.
December.
And March, December is Jesus was born.
You guys are confused.
We'll figure it out.
And April, Jesus died.
Well,
or
so
March.
somewhere between March and
April.
You guys need. See, come and help me take this out of this studio.
Somewhere between March and April. It's amazing.
we just love to. I don't know.
No, I mean, everybody is now. I mean, before January even ended,
They
people
were
started talking about
Valentine's.
I mean, see all the
Like,
malls, see all the
Everywhere's red.
boutiques.
Yeah.
Everywhere is red, and
Everybody's ready.
and I don't know. I've never really done vow like that. I've worked almost every year during vow, and
So you're making money.
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I love to make money. What are we talking about?
And money loves you.
Let them put vow aside. And if I can't see the economics of the economics of the vow makes more sense to me than it's like Israel. Israel don't practice Christianity, but they love the economics of pilgrimage.
Absolutely.
And they make money of it. So and that brings me. I remember there was a particular Valentine's Day that I was asked to come and facilitate a session. It was a church that invited me. And guess what the topic was? They wanted all their young people because they felt that the world was going to corrupt them.
Right.
So they were going to get them into church
Right.
for on Valentine's Day.
Right.
Guess the theme of their program?
What is love?
No. The role of Christian youth in God's end time agenda.
Oh my God.
How many kids came?
So I told the pastor I wasn't coming. When they sent letter, so I told him I wasn't coming. So he said, I said, because no one is going to show up for this topic. so I told him, go get someone else. I wasn't, because nobody will show up. So the man said, oh, so what should they do? I said, let me plan this vow for you. Said, number one, we won't use your church auditorium. We'll call it Red Vow. And there'll be a dress code. They all was jammed. They had never seen that number before. So every time I remember, who fixes the role of Christian youth in God's end time agenda?
So I'm now even teaching you of end time.
Yeah.
Then, I'm putting more fear in an already afraid.
Who cares? These children want to catch fun. You're trying to. Who cares about role on Valentine's Day? Hey, but I've had, and my favorite Valentine was the one I had with prostitutes. Valentine with prostitute. Those days, this was 2000 and
This guy has really
Has done things, eh?
yeah. There's a place called Good Evening Street. Channels even came to cover it. Good Evening Street in Ajegunle. That's a place where sex takes place 24/7. And so if you, depending on the tribe you wanted to have sex with, so they have the Igbos, they have the Yorubas, they have the Hausas, the Idomas and the rest, and they don't mix.
Wow.
Right. So I had gone there because I used to toast prostitutes out of prostitution. I didn't have money to rehabilitate, so I would go into the brothel.
Make them think you want them.
So I would disguise as a customer, and I'll start
Oh
talking
my
to them.
gosh.
So I was doing this thing. So
No wonder.
that particular
No wonder. His mouth is sweet. No wonder.
so that particular
I've been wondering, guys. Now he's telling his
that particular year, I wanted to do something, but I didn't know. We didn't even have a budget. We didn't have money. So I told my team, so what can we do that will change lives? So we said, let's take Valentine to the brothel. So I didn't know how to do a press release way back. I just did a letter, sent to a few media houses, gave my guy to take there.
Right.
Before he got back to the office, I called to say they had been looking for how to get into a brothel,
Right.
but they've never been able to.
Right.
So Joseph Esenwa was like, oh, can we partner with this? So we took cake, we took food, gifts on Valentine. Guess what? The prostitute didn't know it was February 14th.
What do they know?
It
now?
was they were cut off from
Of course.
from
They
the
don't know
rest
what's
of the world.
happening.
So
Wow.
we partied, danced with them, played music, channels interviewed them, they were telling them, help us thank praise. He's been a friend, he brings his food, we eat together and
And
blah,
comes to those stores.
And comes to yourself.
Here is the thing. A week after Valentine, the owner of the brothel began to look for me. So I was wondering what was going on. But they told me that 8 girls left that night simply because we came to show love.
Oh, wow.
She said,
Wow.
praise
What
what
can love really
yeah.
do?
So in fact, I met one of the girls later. I think she was getting married, and she had called me to say, praise, you need to come for my wedding. And things like that. So at that first hand, I
Amazing.
realized what love can do
do.
if we use it appropriately. Looking back right now, I think, what was I thinking about when I did those kind of crazy? I put
Well, you have to do
a
what you have to
a
do.
lot of stunts, and it was also there I learned patience, because there was one of the girls, Gloria, she had gone in and out. She would leave, go back in and out. She told me she wanted to save a certain kind of, she was saving like 3,000 every day. So she said she wanted to make it a month and 90K, but she would not leave. So I would talk to her, she would leave, come back, and I'll meet her there. So one day I made up my mind. I told her I will never look for you again, never speak to you. So I didn't go there for like 2 weeks. Then I went and they said they've not been looking for her, that she had left.
Wow.
So later I found her somewhere. She had rented a house, and she had started a food business. So I realized that the same day I gave up on her was the day she left. So I just learned, those girls taught me a whole lot. They would say, Pastor, let us pray. I became, and you see the prayer points are very funny. Pastor, can you talk to God? I never fucked today. And I need to fuck 11 men. Because they needed actually about 11 men to break even, because they pay for their best place every day inside the brothel. So say, Pastor, pray to God, make we fuck 11. Yesterday now 7 come.
Reach. So
you know,
today we need 11.
So
plus
I
four.
will join hands and pray.
Wow.
The following time I went in there for fellowship. They will share testimonies.
That's
say-
yesterday.
They will go and call, say, "This our pastor."
Yeah, correct
Oh,
one.
go and get pastor. Interesting journey.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
So I think for me that then takes me to ask this question: what does love really mean?
Hmm.
What does love mean to you?
Well, maybe it means different things to different people. And while there may not be a generalized definition, depending on what type of love, because I mean, the word love is from the Greek people, and they have different expressions, of love. So they have the eros, and the rest of them, So, but if we look at it from the depth of it, what really love is, my research shows that love is not a feeling as people think it is, because you can snap out of feelings. I define love as a decision that is built on a commitment to add value to someone else without expecting a return. Yeah.
Okay.
And so with that, I learned that love is not symbiotic. So it's, as a matter of fact, now I believe that it's a state of being before doing. A lot of people are trying to love without being, and that's why they get into crisis.
From inside,
Because when
outside.
it's not you,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even exist in you, but you're giving it out. That's when you hear heartbreak.
When you give out something
Because people that it first became a state of being before they gave it out, even when they became bruised, they didn't really kind of. So, but that's my own
but it also takes a while to get there.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's
a
you see, it takes a while to get to
forever,
anything, like we say, you and I were at the forum, I think on Tuesday. Were you at the forum on Tuesday? The thing we do every Sunday 7 p.m. Oh, you missed. Oh, I didn't invite you.
No.
Really? I'm so sorry.
No, if you do,
So-
I'll be there.
So we were talking about
They never invite me.
one of the bastardized words. So I was showing them what Hebrew meant when it talked about those that wait on the Lord. That it's got nothing to do with fast. It actually means those that present their tread to become a part of God's rope, and being squeezed such that they no longer exist, that God is what now exists. Their strength will be exchanged for a higher strength. Now, if you understand that, then it helps you negotiate. So I was sharing with them that Elon Musk is the biggest negotiator in our world. While everyone is negotiating for planet Earth, the guy was negotiating for Mars that doesn't exist. It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, now, so I was sharing with them that sometimes when people pray, they don't negotiate. That you can negotiate for God's brain. You can negotiate for his intelligence.
Because it says, come, let's
Yeah.
have a conversation.
So we negotiate for cars, very base.
Okay,
You know,
house.
So if you negotiate for his intelligence, what result will you be producing? So I mean, it was like a light bulb moment for them to say,
Yeah,
oh,
the
we,
recording. Can you send it to me?
yeah, I think I can send it to you.
Great.
That it's been presenting your thread and becoming a rope at the end of the day. By the time the process is done, you no longer exist. What now existed? So when they were going to stone Jesus for saying he is one with God, then but he didn't say they should not call themselves one with God as well.
Exactly.
So
they couldn't connect.
we are afraid of what we are capable of becoming.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going.
Absolutely.
That you can be reduced to love, that what exists is love. If they squeeze you, it's love that comes out. So we are afraid. You begin to think, if I get there, they will take me for granted. I'll now feel
So it's
stupid.
really not love.
It's not love. Yeah, but it's the process from where you are to getting to that place is where the work is, and it's a lot of work.
And that's the work that people don't want to do.
Nobody wants to.
No.
People
And it's a battle.
just want me to
That's
lay
the
hands on you and would
then
love to show up.
immediately-
It doesn't work.
Because you use time.
I didn't beat you. I didn't, you know.
So
Wow.
I mean, like that's so mind blowing.
Yeah.
Because for me, I agree. Love. I used to think love was a feeling.
Mm.
I think based on all the movies and the songs that I listened to,
The M&B
growing
and the
up,
Roman.
do you understand what I mean? The knight in shining armor with long hair will whisk me away and carry me on a horse. I will disappear.
Uh-huh.
And then it's now my AC, is my television, is my freezer, is my chair, is my dining table. All
All of the above.
of the above. And so once you love me and I love you, then we're connected forever.
Then we're loving each other.
But there was a rude awakening. that ain't love, you know. And I think love is also, aside from being a verb, a doing word, I think it's something that also needs to be nurtured, right?
Yeah.
It's also something that needs to yes, so one, nurtured, of course. Two, is also being a safe space for other people,
Yeah.
whereby anything they say, you are capable of accepting it and not judging them.
Yeah.
And that's also really tough.
It's tough.
It's not easy for somebody comes to say something to you and you're already judged. And sometimes they may test you by, oh, it happened to my friend, or I'm asking for a friend. Meanwhile, you don't go, you're stupid, you're fool. The person will never be able to share.
You know the interesting thing, and and pardon me, it is not a religious show, but I read my Bible.
Yes, I do too.
It says God did not send a son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him will be saved. Right? The word world there is not people, is cosmos, which is the system that governs. So that if you are sent into the arts and entertainment industry, for example, you were not sent there to condemn and judge. You were there to save the system. Now, by the laws of life, you cannot save what you condemn.
Yeah.
And you cannot save the people you have judged.
Yes. And you don't
So I heard it from Fisayo, but I did further research that
shout out to Fisayo.
your art must be able to,
Fisayo,
that you can't innovate for a people you don't love.
Absolutely.
Right? So there is art failure because love is the part that pumps energy to the rest of the body. So art failure happens when your heart is no longer pumping blood. So what many of us do is we love the people that look like us.
Conditionally.
We hate. So I'm a Christian. I hate the Muslims because I believe that they are not going to my heaven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
And we're not one.
So every time I say that, what I'm saying to God is, don't
give me
put
for
their
them.
innovation in my heart because I'm not going to give it to
for
them.
Yes, don't bless me for them.
But interesting research I found out is every man we call the richest in the world, they've passed the test of God, wherein everything they create is for everybody.
Every color.
So if your heart cannot accommodate all, then you may not have passed the test of love. And that's one thing people need to, that the parameters by which you judge love, you can't say I love and but then people come. You can't say there is loving. Of course, we know love is not stupid because part of no is, but love is still no. Because if you have a son and your son wants to jump from 40th floor and say, "Mommy, can I jump? I know you love me." No, love is no at that point. So
whatever love needs to be,
because love is not always yes, because that's the balance. So if I've given you money as my spouse consistently and you squander it, love is detachment to say withhold money or else you will find this addict, as it were. Right. So what we need to get to that level is, can my heart accommodate all? Wherein when people,
and all is not just people.
No,
all is
everything. So that when people show up on my radar, my default mode is not judgment. And you know how deep that is?
It's difficult.
Can you accommodate Fulani herdsmen? That's where I'm going.
It's difficult. Now I have this thing, I got it from you, where you say go out, like you used to go out in the night to go and see the moon.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people in my
you were she was asking me, the praise, are there days that moon?
So it seems that you should not be looking at the moon.
So I come out every night now.
There's something it does to your observation.
I come out and look at the stars.
If you can count the stars
aren't that sharp
and the
these
moon,
days.
right? What happens is your capacity to spot opportunities will be very high. You begin to spot the normal human beings don't see, because they don't look out for those things, right? So you have trained yourself to spot what they can't spot. So things come to you in a way that, so I tell people there are, and this is about love. There are levels you receive knowledge. There is a knowledge you receive by observation. There's a knowledge you receive by acquisition, wherein you go to school, right? There's a knowledge you receive by revelation, which is meditation. But there's a fourth dimension, which is innovation. At the level of invasion is dictation you hear, you don't know where it's coming from. So you give answers to what you have not studied but is accurate.
See, let me tell you something.
You know,
This
you can
thing has
actually
happened to me.
relate that to love.
But this thing has happened to me twice this week now. I've brought out 3 or 4 different items of clothes and put on my bed that I will wear one of you tomorrow. And then in the morning, I'm meditating and I see myself in a completely different attire.
Fantastic.
And I get up and I go and bring out that attire and I wear it.
Yeah.
It has happened this today. This is not what I brought out to wear today.
Uh-huh.
I ironed what I was going to wear, 2 options, and I put it. And I just said, as you leave me, I follow.
It is a weird, is a weird space. Trust
I
me.
can't explain it to anybody.
They won't understand. It's a weird space.
Yes.
You know, so it's now that my people who work with me are beginning to understand, because now they are seeing the results in their own life. So they are like, PF, this is what you do. We have to join. So I call it getting high, 7:30 to 8 o'clock and things like that. You know, but you see,
But that's also
love is love
That's
is,
what I'm saying,
because
like,
you
you
see,
can
love is
Those
you don't
those
withhold.
levels, if you convert it to love,
And
you said
vibration.
love
Yeah.
by, I mean, love by what's
Because-
the first level?
First level is observation,
Observation.
Yeah. acquisition,
and
then meditation, which is the
meditation,
religion, then invasion.
Yes.
You know, so what people do, and that's how a proof of you love people, because some of the things I do at work are risky, because you have to think, what if they leave me? Because you are showing them trade secret. But you don't have to worry.
Because
You don't have to worry,
everyone
because
with the
they
end-
deserve it,
Yeah.
right?
Ooh,
the more
I
they
like that.
the more they know it,
The
the more
better-
the better for you,
Yes.
because now they no longer need you. You know, what many
The more
leaders
good-
do
the more
is
good people-
our
Because
business
we
is
want
dependent on
to-
the smallness of
yeah,
others.
And we want to
But
be
true
the
love-
saviors.
True love is you set people free.
Yeah.
If you truly
And
love
don't be
them,
afraid.
Yeah.
you will set them free, because what we love is, if you know the way, you produce the act. Majority of people see the act and they get excited and they plug onto you, because you are the ones who is the way maker producing the act. But if you make everybody
Powerful.
who knows the way, they will also produce the act.
Yeah.
Our world becomes very
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
and I say to people that the true test of love is actually when people leave you and you no longer need,
They no longer need
you no longer need them.
Yeah.
What you do when you no longer need them is where love is. So you left a place of work, or you left a relationship, and the person still extends love to you because you deserve it, right? That's love. So love is not you are with
so love
me
is not sending you flowers
No.
only.
only.
Or chocolate.
Or chocolate. Okay, no.
Even though they're nice.
Even though,
But it's
I
not
mean,
the
that's-
only
but that's-
measure.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
that's
the
also
only measure.
sometimes. I mean,
I'm sorry,
So-
we're going to come back to this 4 levels of love.
yes. Oh,
Because
yes. Oh, yes.
it has struck something, and I think it will help us to really down and expand this conversation about what love is. Those 4 levels, I mean, yes, I know it's about knowledge, but if you
It's also-
think about it
knowledge
in the
is-
way
I've
that
never
love
heard them
really
before.
is.
I've not taught it publicly before.
no. But I'm just saying, like, the principles of, okay, when you say love by observation,
Yeah.
you start to love by
Yeah,
observation. When
yeah.
you're born, you don't know anything about
Oh, yeah.
love. When you watch your parents, you watch the people around.
Yeah, you give
that's how
flowers.
you learn
You
love.
give you flowers. Yeah, okay, Valentine.
how you
So a
learn
lot of people
love.
practice Valentine, for example. Observation. You know,
Absolutely. And they think that without flowers you don't love me. That's
Yeah.
observation. It's
You-
not what they're
and then
saying.
what
Yeah.
you love by knowledge,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Going to school
Yeah.
and
It's
not just
acquired,
in
yeah.
school, life. You know, start loving this person, or I'm not,
Or not loving
or
the
not
person.
loving
Yeah.
the person.
Yeah.
I mean, you taught what
Yeah.
love is not. You get
Yeah.
taught how other people see love.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, you learn from those and grow your own understanding and knowledge
Yeah.
of love.
Yeah.
And then we
You
get
get to
the
meditation where is revelation. You can understand why you love the person.
Yes. Yes. Even if I hate
Every
you,
person hates the person, but what have you found in this person?
Yes.
Yeah, but there's something you can see.
Do you know what? I mean, this is so mind blowing. I remember in secondary school, like I wasn't popular. I don't know. I was very popular, and because very popular, very not liked by many people. But I didn't my thing, right? To stage where like nobody could touch me, so seniors and all of that. None of that was affecting me anymore, right? I remember there was a friend of mine now he's a friend, distant friend, but now he's a friend. But there was somebody in my class who everybody didn't like. Not so he didn't look the part. When you saw the two of us together, you'd be thinking, what's
Why?
Rookie doing with this person?
Mm.
And I used to say to them, I'm like, well, is it the pimples that you're seeing on the face? I don't understand.
Mm.
Because there is something inside beyond the pimples. And when I sit and talk to this person, I don't see anything. I don't see all of that. He may not be okay, but neither am I. For crying out loud,
Mm.
that just because you're seeing fine face doesn't mean that everybody's okay.
Mm.
You know, and the whole time, I mean, we're then, friends. So we became friends in my SS2. So by the time I was leaving, in fact, by SS3, when we entered SS3, one of my close friends at the time, his thoughts found herself loving the guy just because I said,
showed so
you know
much.
what? Damn it.
Mm.
I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care what anybody says. She found herself loving the guy. She loved the guy so till she became the guy's girlfriend. I'm telling you, and she was the one helping him to bust the
Yeah,
pimple.
that's revelation, because at that point, it doesn't make sense to anybody, but you know what you can see,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, I don't know what you guys are saying, but I know what I see.
Wow.
There's a lot. I mean, it's because you also need to this thing,
Invasion.
invasion. Yeah, what is that? Invasion. I mean, that's another realm. It's like, and yesterday I remember I was going downstairs and I heard my name being called clearly. It wasn't by anybody around me, and I heard I want to spend time with you. So I said, okay. So I went downstairs. Hello, everybody. I'll see you guys very soon. And I went upstairs straight. And I spent some quality, like that's the space that I've opened myself.
Let
up
me
to.
tell you what's happening to you. So what's happening to you is very simple. I taught them on Tuesday
Ah.
that
Well, you're going to send me
I taught them on Tuesday. So we were told that God lives where? Inside of us.
Inside of us.
No,
But-
it says God lives in.
Well, we were told later we learned that God lives inside of us. But every activity designed to find God is outside of
He's
us.
outside, yes. Yes.
We would travel to the mountain.
Yes.
The only place we will not go.
To the ocean.
The only place we will not go.
It's inside.
And you know why? Inside is not settled.
Yes.
Inside is hell.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Once inside becomes
You
heaven,
can't hear.
as in you will be comfortable in your skin,
Yeah.
comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
People will think you are mad,
Yeah.
actually.
I kind of think people think so.
And it's not everyone that can actually quieten their mind, which is a state of falling in love with
With
you.
yourself.
With you.
That's really about experiencing. I think that's when you actually then begin to experience true
Yes.
love.
Yeah, and people
When
will
you
say, oh,
truly
it doesn't
love
miss people.
yourself first.
It doesn't
You
miss
can't
people.
love anybody if you don't love yourself.
Yeah, but-
I think that you can only give what you have. And so for me, and that's my own thinking, that if you don't love yourself and you can't love, so it's the way you speak to yourself that you speak to other people.
Absolutely.
It's the way you feel, if every time you look at yourself, you're judging yourself, you say something, I'm just even very stupid, I'm daft. That's how you're going to talk to other
Yeah.
people, because you don't know any better. But if you say to yourself, girl, you're doing a fantastic, in fact, I didn't heal myself. I'll just say, Diola, Kushe. I heal myself. I'll tell myself, you're doing a fantastic job.
I have this.
I cherish you.
We've been
You know?
we've been put in the mode of perfectionism that we've lost touch with our humanity and who we are. And that was what we're discussing in the group yesterday. That so you see some of these Oyinbos, they're having a session like this. A child walks in, they're not telling the child. It was a video they actually.
People say hi to
It
the
was a
child and
video
say,
they played.
"Say hello to everyone."
There was this video where a mother was she's a customer rep person, and
Okay.
she was at work, but her son was making noise, but she was talking to someone on the other side. So she held the slippers in her hand and started threatening the boy. Say, "I'm gonna kill you." Meanwhile, she was very nice.
to the person on the phone.
So I was analyzing and I said to them, you see, if you switch the child to the customer and the customer to the child, she'll be beating the customer
Of course.
and she'll be nice to the child. That we have forgotten that the man at the other end is also a human being. That if he hears the cry of your son, he will most likely say, please, madam, attend to that.
Attend to the child, yes.
Because the child is also a customer.
But have you not seen my daughter? She'll just come, she'll put her face and say, hello. I'll say hello.
During my session, when I see people's children, I greet the children.
Yeah.
Right? What are we trying to be perfect about that we lose our? So it comes back to self-love,
Yeah.
which is the first layer of love, to say how much of yourself, and how you
Do
know
I
is
love?
this. In my class, I make them do this exercise. I ask them to praise themselves for 5 minutes
Oh, it's tough.
without quoting Bible or Quran,
It's tough.
and we're repeating the same words twice.
It's tough. 5 minutes.
Nobody has been able to do 5
But
minutes.
nobody can do that.
But guess what?
Mm.
Until one day, I made the mistake of repeating the same activity to grandmas, Yoruba grandmas,
Yeah.
at one meeting that one Anglican church invited me to. Guess what they started doing? Oriki.
That's it.
We couldn't stop them. Hey, me love more something. Hey, one love more something. We couldn't stop them.
I love it.
But elite and our generation couldn't. Nobody has been able to do 3 minutes.
You can't even do 2 minutes.
So you know what happened? Because they were conditioned
It's
to
pride
praise God,
and
to praise other people
yes, and not
every time they attempted to praise themselves.
Yeah.
So most likely you're not
You're
supposed-
told you're proud.
Yeah.
you are not most
Yes.
likely using the words that describe your entire magnificence on yourself.
Yeah.
So you can't say to yourself, I'm the greatest that exists.
Magnificent.
I am the best that exists. They will say,
phenomenal.
I beg you can.
Everyone's
But you have not told them not to say the same thing about themselves.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's first of all self-love.
But then because I mean they like who talks like this? I wouldn't even talk about myself
Yourself
in this
like
way.
that.
Who you
Yeah.
be?
Who you
Yeah,
be?
so those are so you see gaps. So if I come to you and I say, Bukola, you are so lovely,
I know.
wonderful. Now, if that word is doing something to you, there are gaps in there.
Yeah.
There are gaps in there because it's the same thing like saying, Bukola, you are Bukola. Bukola, you are Bukola. Bukola, you are Bukola. What does it do to you?
Nothing.
I know
Bukola, thank you.
Yeah, that's my name.
That's who
But
I
I don't
am.
know what's special about
Exactly.
me.
So
Mm.
that's why people need to. You can't love effectively until you are comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why, one of the first things I love to teach in love is singleness. That
Ooh, I can stay with myself.
if you have not mastered singleness,
We
I can bask-
still talk
you
about
will
this
be
single-
you will be a
I can
trouble
bask in
to
the
your
ambience.
spouse
Yes.
because you will not want to be everywhere he is.
Yes.
You will not have any
Yeah.
other life. You will not have any
Yeah.
other friend.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to be like that.
And that thing could be,
I
your
used to-
life
I mean,
is.
it's one of the things we'll definitely talk about when we, hit some
Relationship.
marriage,
Yeah.
relationship.
I used to be like that.
conversations.
I'm not even gonna lie. When because for me it was like, okay, he's meant to be my best friend. He's meant to be my this, my
So
all
it's-
in all. My all in all.
That's one of the errors that has been taught. He must be your best friend.
Yeah,
He doesn't
or
have.
your soulmate.
Nah.
Meanwhile, your spouse really doesn't have to be your soulmate.
It doesn't have
You
to
may
be.
find your soul in someone
He
else.
doesn't have to. He doesn't have to be.
But those are the things that were working with for me.
Hey,
I'm
but
like,
it's-
no,
it's stereotyping.
You must tell me everything. We must know everything. I must be everything.
We
I
are not
must
willing
be-
to have that conversation, and that's sad. Because I had one of my friends got married, my childhood friend, my longest serving friend, got married, and so I said, oh, my bestie is getting married. And someone had buzzed me to say, I thought your wife is supposed to be your bestie, but my wife even knows this bestie,
As my
as my bestie.
Yeah.
I said, what are you guys? So you are supposed to lie
Yeah.
to yourself,
Yeah.
right? Meanwhile, you have like maybe 50 years to stay married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can grow to that level, but it
Yeah.
doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, but then
And it doesn't happen.
But then it even
They don't
makes
happen in the
it
beginning either.
Yes.
it makes it seem like the life that you had before you married
No longer
never
exists.
existed
Yeah.
or should no longer
Well, because
exist.
some relationships are insecure, right? And some people, no, not relationships. Some people in
People are
relationships
are insecure.
So there's nothing wrong with relationship or marriage. It's the people
Yeah.
that are in it. So
Yeah.
yes, so people are insecure, and they will have all kinds of reasons for insecurity, right? However, it's you have to really love yourself to the point where it doesn't really, you're not responsible for what other people do.
Mhm.
It doesn't even matter to you because you don't see it, you don't feel it, you don't think it. To you, you're just fine.
Hmm.
It's like you're in a bubble. So people don't understand what is going on with you or where you're heading. But you know that, I mean, at least I know that sometimes when I'm battling with things and I'm like, God, I need you to help me through this. I remember some days ago I was meditating and my mind wandered into some things that started to, and all of a sudden I felt a peck on my cheek. My daughter who was sleeping got up and came and pecked me on my cheek and hugged me. And immediately I knew that it wasn't her. I knew I looked up and I smiled and I said, God, thank you for that. Because my mind was already going to places that it shouldn't have been going to.
Oh yeah.
It shouldn't have been
I
going
need
to.
to ask a question though. Like, how do you help because we're talking about getting to a state where nothing phases you, nothing moves you, nothing bothers you, where you're in this space. And you mentioned, you said something about being in a bubble, right? But then how do you help people who might be thinking, like, if you're not feeling or being, I want to use the word moved, but
then you're not a lover.
Either you're not a lover or you really don't
love.
care.
Oh, I had somebody say that to me as well.
Or that yeah, I mean, like you're not a lover, or you don't care, or you're not really present.
Yes.
And so there's obviously something else, wrong with
somewhere
you.
else.
Yeah.
I had somebody say that to me one day, actually, when I was talking to the person and saying, oh, this is who I am and where I am. And the person said, you don't sound like you love anymore. And I said to the person, I said, you first need to find yourself to be able to love anybody. And so for me, I need to be, first of all, at that point, I felt like I needed to first steal myself back to myself.
Well,
and then everybody else will be okay.
The thing is,
that's how it was to me.
Our expression of love, our expression of love is we always feel we need to do something. Nothing wrong with that. There's something called tantric sex, right?
Explain.
Tantric sex.
I like sex inside it.
Tantric sex is a style. Tantric sex is a style of sex. You can check it out, where you do nothing. The two of you are stripped naked. You are staring into each other's face,
right.
and you do nothing. Right? That you can connect without saying a word and without doing anything. Right? At that point, heart answers to heart.
Deep out to deep.
Right. Nothing is said, but everything is said.
I need to get there, God.
Everything is said. So people don't understand that because you were socialized to love through what they give to you, what someone does. So when those things are not done, so it's like saying, so when you hear people say, people say, I don't feel God. What does that mean? You live inside of him. He lives inside of you. You don't feel him because you are looking for feelings. So that when they don't feel goose pimples, I don't think God is with me. Where did he go? On holiday? So it's the same way. We always feel we need to. It's the same process that birth healing. You feel, I need to feel something.
I need to shake.
No.
Or miracle.
No. You don't have to feel anything. But once you are sure and certain that it's done, it's done. So people need to get to that level. And that's why when you see people like that who have now mastered wholeness, a state of being, right, where they're now conscious of who they truly are, people look at them and say, you are distant, you are this, because you are no longer playing the player that everybody plays. And meanwhile, when they play, there's still emptiness.
But where does compassion come in, though?
Compassion?
Yes.
What is compassion?
Okay, we're not touching any of the other things that I've written down, but I mean, let's go. So what is compassion?
Also, I'm coming back to this because for me, like, I don't think we've really answered that question. Like, I'm coming back to this when you get to Zen, when you get to this higher level and higher power. Of course, you start talking like, and saying the kind of things that people that are not on that frequency will never understand and they will never get it, right? And so you look like an alien, or you look like you're distant, or you look like you don't even understand what I'm going through.
No, that's even when you understand, because everything that now comes out of you, so it's like you become the energy that refresh humanity, right? So in fact, it's a place of higher responsibilities, because at that point you are able to release a lot more compassion, right? But you see, when you look at the word kindness, kindness is from the word kindred, which means my type, right? My person, kind of. That's where it's from. So when you get to that state, it becomes aspirational for others who are really, really opening their eyes to see what is happening to you, because that's the state everybody wants to get to. A state where you are not running around. You know exactly what is happening. You are at peace. You imagine if everyone gets to that place where there's awareness and consciousness that no matter what happens, money will come when I need it. You don't know.
The tension will just drop.
Like,
Yeah, but people don't know.
The
Yeah.
tension
Even
will
when you
drop.
tell them they are not sure, they
No.
tiptoe around.
You're still looking for
Yeah.
you say
Yeah,
God help you, but you're
because
not pushing
you
things
feel,
to meet
and
God,
so
to help
if you
God.
check Vincent is teaching something. I've not listened to it, but I've seen him advertise it to say you don't have to work as hard.
Yes.
I've seen that,
Yes.
so I knew exactly what he
Yes.
had to talk about. I've not
I've
listened,
actually listened.
right? That a lot of people think you need to walk around,
But that's what they told us.
but there's a level where you attract things,
That's what they.
you
That's
command
what they were
things.
told.
Things come into. I mean, the lilies of the field. How do they survive?
Exactly.
What do they do?
Exactly.
But God is, because they are so sure. It's like your
The
child.
birds.
Do you think your child wakes up
I
and,
say,
and says,
how would I eat
what will I eat today?
No.
Or Christmas is coming.
Oh, how would I wake up? It's like
how would-
daddy is there.
It's done.
Sure.
The only problem with us was that we grew. We grew up. We became adults.
Yeah.
Right? We lost what it
We left
means
our
to
imagination
absolutely
behind.
trust
Yeah.
and to actually live, to actually
That's
visualize.
the word, imagination.
Imagination.
Yeah. That's
Imagination.
Yeah.
Which is imagio, which is a state of wholeness. Right? So we don't know that the power being given to create our ideal
Yeah.
is that imagination. In fact, it was Anthony Robbins that says that there are two powers that control the world, faith and fear. And he said both of them are imagination driven.
Yeah. Because neither of them actually
So
exist.
everyone needs to, in fact,
That's
one
what
of the things I tell people, for those who are listening to us, one of the things I tell them is this. So today, for example, can you strip yourself naked? Just lock the door. Strip yourself naked
Look at yourself.
and look at yourself in the mirror from your head
Okay.
to your feet.
Do
Just
you judge anything?
Yeah, just some people have never done it in their life.
Yeah.
You know, we're having a class, and so I asked people to look at themselves. Of course, they couldn't strip in class. But what do you love the most about yourself? And a lady who was not married wrote in a note that I love that I kiss so well and I love it. So when she said that, the Pharisees,
The Sadducees and the Pharisees.
You are now, you are a child of the devil.
Sadducees and
Say-
the Pharisees.
say-
I like that.
Praise, what are you condoning in this class? I said, it's a journey.
Yes.
A journey is not your journey.
Mm.
And so I said, with all she has said, and I said, God knock on your door to say something
I
is
don't
wrong with
like
her.
her, exactly.
So they were looking at me in another light. But what has happened is I've grown from where I used to be, because I would have also judged
Yes.
that. You know, but at that she was saying it and she was crying.
Yeah.
You would think as if they flogged her. So when we finished during the break time, I called her. She said, Praise, this is something I do so well, but I've been
Wow.
ashamed all my life
To say it.
to
say
say.
it.
She said, thank you for making me say it and for
Aw.
embracing me.
Did you give her a kiss?
I mean, a kiss
Yeah,
of life.
a kiss of life.
love.
You know, so we need to get to the point where even today I was coaching a group, and a lady said something that was like judgment. She judged someone else who had given a feedback about her that she didn't like. So when I was going, she came to me and said, Mr. Praise, I misrepresented myself. I feel so sorry. I said, no. I said, process what's happened. Life was talking back at you that there are things you have not mastered. I said, just don't judge yourself. Feel comfortable in your mistakes
At least now
and,
you know.
and learn from
Yeah.
it.
Be conscious.
Right? So she looked at me and was like, I never saw that before.
Yeah.
I said, you are not trying to impress me. I'm still on my own journey. You're on your journey.
Everybody
Right?
knows that.
So there is only one producer. All of us are products. And the bottle of Coca-Cola has no basis judging the bottle of Gouda.
At all.
Both of them are bottles.
That's it.
Lord have mercy.
You know, so
Lord have mercy.
it's
It
judgment
needs a reawakening, a renewing, everything of our
that is not making people
Crazy.
love themselves. And we
Yeah.
all need to get to that place where you truly
So
love
it's
me.
not about a season. So love definitely is not about a season.
But isn't that what our world needs? Isn't that what we're all looking
It's
for?
meant to be a daily. It's meant to be a daily practice.
It's meant to
It's not
be.
a one-day practice.
It's
of
meant to
meeting
be
me
you.
for 364 days
It's not.
of the year.
It's not even meant to be
And
a
then
practice.
sending me flowers on one day and then resume beating me after that.
It's a state of being that we all need to get to, because when you truly love people and all you say is man made in God's image, there are things you will no longer do.
Yeah, there are wars that will be stopped.
You know, it's gotten to a point where sometimes now one of my prayers is that God help me when I see people, I don't first see the negative in them.
No.
I see the positive
Yeah.
in them first. Because sometimes you say, look at his stomach. You're not actually saying, oh, that shirt is not bad, you know. That is, you know, or she look at her shoes. You look at her big stomach, big bum bum. Did she do a bum bum? Did she? You know, you're thinking all kind of all this.
It's a constant.
It's constant. You know, for me, and for me, I'm even trying to be very conscious about my thoughts because I know I'm in control of them.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I actually literally yell and say to myself, Adiola, stop now. I do that to myself, you know, because I'm conscious of the things that I always want to try. I not try because I do it more effortlessly now, staying in a place of peace.
Is a good place to
be.
I
love that place.
You must treasure your peace.
Yes,
above. It was a friend who said to me that no matter what you do, I'm not going to allow you turn my mind into a dustbin where you dump your dirt.
Yeah.
But I say that happiness is creating the heaven within you and protecting it that invalidates the hell without you. Right, that you always want to the place of peace. So if saying I'm sorry to you is what takes me to that peace, I'm willing to do it. If I need to prostrate to get to that place, I will do it. I've lost a sense of shamefulness or shame.
You are shameless.
I've been stripped of my ego. You know, I have nothing. So I can walk up to people and make a demand for whatever I want to have. The worst that will happen is you will say no to me. That's not it. So it's okay. It just means that you are not ready for my yes yet, and I'm still going to come back to you. You know, so it strips me of every ego to say, what you say? People will say, oh, praise.
He will not do me like this. He will not. That's also
oh, praise. How did you become this old praise that you're even talking about? There was a time you ran around the street. You were naked. Nobody saw you. You didn't even care about anyone. Right? So how did we grow to that level where we're not so self-conscious and you now feel, oh, I need to be this way, I need to be this way. And so when you see folks like, you know, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and you see the simplicity, you know,
it gets me every time.
Then you understand power.
Time. Yeah.
To say these guys are not wearing blinks, you are not showing them inside jets.
No, gold teeth.
These guys, they can afford all these things, but Jeff Bezos can literally buy up Nigeria because the GDP of Amazon is bigger than like twice.
It's okay.
You know, but it's not going to do that.
Yeah, it's all
so
right.
love must be a state of being.
I think something that we should also.
I'm going to ask one more question before we go.
Okay, so now let me finish what I'm saying. Then you can ask your question.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
No. So like when we go forward at some point,
yes.
I think some people's experience with love is not what love is, but what love is not.
I've opened another chapter. The way love was introduced.
So if you ask them what love is, their description is what love is not.
Yeah, so they gave them pseudo love, and they call it love for them. Right. So there are people that there are people that you think are loving you, but they are killing you, and you are not aware, because that's all you felt love was. You know. So I've met people that love to them is sex. So sex is become the language and the negotiation for love.
For love.
You know, and so
I'm so happy with where you're taking it, because that's leading to my next question.
And so those kind of people will look at you, and you are in a friendship, and you are not speaking the sex language and they think you don't love them.
Some people is hitting, is slapping.
Oh yeah, I've met a lady before who said to me that the guy doesn't love her because he's never beaten her before. You know, so they fall into that category, and we have those kind of people, you know, wherein what has been introduced to them is not love, right? But that's what it is. So again, like we said during abuse, sometimes they need to grow to a level where they can say it.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes I've learned in my work, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know, in your bid to save people, you may create a bigger problem for them. So, for example, you have a woman whose husband is beating her, and she says, "I love him,"
like that.
All right, and you now go and talk to her and say, "Leave him."
You that would be there.
You have no penis to give her.
No romance.
You have no house. to give her if she left that if he leaves that place. You have no budget
money.
to serve her
You have no shoulder
for her to
on.
cry on.
And if she has children, yeah, it's even worse.
Right. So when people say that, oh, we develop one woman, she's left and married, then in 2 weeks she's back
She's
there.
back.
They are
So
wondering
there's
what is
nothing
wrong
else.
with,
Yeah.
and so you need to allow people grow, and that's where patience comes in, right? Because what many of us are doing, I have washed my hands off
you.
No, where level that person, you used to be at that level too, so I think we grow and we forget where we used to be, so we need to
That's
get,
that compassion I was talking about.
no, you see, because you can't, if you claim you love and there's no compassion in you, what you have is the knowledge of love, not love.
Not the reality.
Not the invasion.
Yes.
Hey!
Because you can have the knowledge of love and not have love, right? Because if you check the elements of love, patience is number 1. Patience, kindness is number 2. Love is not jealous, it's not conceited, it's not proud. It believes all things, all things,
yes.
endures all things.
Yes.
It never fails.
Yes.
And so that's
I have
where,
that vision for
Powerful
that
affirmation.
yeah. So that's where,
About love.
that's where we need,
Okay.
that's where we need to be. Where we understand that this is where this person is. So we now begin to show what, because some people, for example, if you do something for them and you expect nothing, in fact, the moment you begin to do something, they
They're
think
suspicious.
you want
Yeah.
something.
No. I've done that. Happened to me one time when I wanted to buy something, and I didn't ask, but the person offered, and my first question was, "What do you want in return?"
Uh-huh.
And he looked at me and he said, "The problem with you is that you've never had anybody who has done something for you without asking for anything in return, and that's where your problem is." He says, "So that's why you think there's a problem with me wanting to help you." And I'm like, what you're offering to give me is huge. It was a car. So I'm thinking, Daddy, I'm not sure that I have much to offer you. You
To
get me?
offset
To offset this bill because I didn't have what you're looking for.
Well,
And there was in fact when he gave me that money, I didn't even see. He left it at the reception.
It's,
I get it from there.
it's what happens when we pray and the answers show up and we can't recognize the
We
answer.
can't.
Because we have what is
We have
hindering,
an idea.
what is hindering many of us is that our idea that we think we know how everything should work out.
Should work out.
But you don't know how everything should work out. Your mind knows it,
Yeah.
you don't know it.
Yeah.
So you get in the way and you say, he must want something
It must be
for him to try to be nice.
Yes.
What in fact we will now say, what kind of play will a man be doing with a woman?
Exactly. And so for me, he was a man and then I'm a woman. So I'm
So-
like, what does he want?
What makes you think 2 women playing together don't have
I'm not
ulterior
doing
motive?
something. Yeah, or 2 men.
So let's take your question
Okay,
before
so
we
my
we go.
question,
Before we
we're
round
talking about languages, right? So I
Yeah.
wrote down a question. Let's talk about love languages now.
Oh yeah,
Right?
Can we talk about it now, or we're going to talk about love?
we're going to talk about it because we can't get into
All
it.
right. So,
Yeah.
so what do they mean? One, and is it important to be conscious of these languages when we're showing love? Now, I'm sure to an extent, some of these love languages would matter in love relationships. But I think it also matters in human relationships,
It's-
regardless.
Love language is not in love relationship. Love
Okay.
language is a human.
Okay.
Expression of love.
Right.
So
does
your
it matter
child,
that I know how you want to be loved so that I can love you that way.
it's called platinum rule. Golden rule is do unto others what you want them to do to you.
Mm.
Platinum rule says treat people the way they want to be treated.
Ah.
So if I follow golden
And
rule,
that's a lower.
That's higher.
that,
is higher actually.
Platinum is
So
higher.
if I say do unto others what you want them to do to you,
That means it's what I want.
I want to be
do.
slapped.
So
Then I now slap you. Do you want to be slapped?
Platinum is the higher.
Platinum is
Do what
treat
you
people the way they want to be treated. So is the word
Ooh, I like that.
stooping, is the word understanding. Now, you can't understand anyone by standing shoulder to shoulder with them or standing above them,
Mm.
because understanding is standing under. So I need to come under, which
stand.
is a place of vulnerability and a
Yeah.
position of
Humble.
humility.
Humility.
To say-
Humility.
Yes.
You got it.
To say
That's what I used to call it when I was
I
younger.
can't even pass,
pray.
I can't take a position without coming under. And if I come under you, I will now say, oh, this is what it is. I will understand better. Because I've now positioned as an apprentice. So I'm not trying to judge, I'm trying to understand what can I learn.
From you.
Yeah, that's understanding.
what can I learn
Yeah.
so I know how to
Yes.
treat you?
Yes. So that's platinum rule. And that's where
Are you learning?
Are you people learning?
that's where love language now came from. To now say, okay, I love words of affirmation and touch. But Bukola,
Don't talk. Come on.
Bukola, I'm an intuitive feeler. And I have permission
From who?
from her.
By who?
Okay. So meanwhile, Bukola loves people to serve her and for buy a gift. Right? So what people do most times is I'm trying to love her the way I want to be loved without considering how she wants to be loved. So what I don't know is I am not making deposits in an emotional bank account. So I am not doing what nurtures her. So when I now want to make my own withdrawal, the account is red.
It's empty. It's not just
So I now say,
She has to resent you.
what kind of woman did I marry? Blah, 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 blah. No, but you are not even, you are like someone who is an Igbo man in a meeting full of Spanish people. Then, so you are day one, you'll be dependent on an interpreter because no, you don't understand and they didn't understand you. Then one day,
The interpreter doesn't come.
the interpreter doesn't come and you were stuck. Then you saw two people and you began to hear Kedu Kodi, Odima. Even if those guys were swindlers, right? You will love them and they will swindle you because you are vulnerable, because you found someone who spoke your language. That's why we say that people are as vulnerable as their love language. And that's why we say that people need to be careful.
Yeah.
So that if it's your driver that begins to speak the love language,
God help you. God help you.
Oh, sorry, Prince.
This is your driver. That is speaking your love
that is
language.
speaking your love language,
There is nothing you will do. You will follow your driver.
you begin to bond with your driver. You you just realize that Mr. Akpan is not looking bad again.
You start.
Guys,
Oh my God.
we gotta go, man.
This is crazy.
Oh God, I missed you guys.
I'm gonna have to ask
Sorry.
a question. When we're talking
My
about
phone
love
just went
languages, about,
Yeah.
when we're talking about love
It's okay.
languages, whether it is, some people might look at it as manipulation.
Is it?
It's not. What do you mean manipulation? Can
Like you're saying, I want to treat you. I mean, I know how you want to be treated and how you want to be loved. And if it's gifts and whatnot, all I have to do is buy you gifts and I get everything else that I want because I've now bought you gifts. You know, and not necessarily from a place of I'm doing it because
I truly,
I truly
care.
I truly care. I
So
truly love
so
you.
again, we're back to the four elements of relationship. One, acceptance. You need to learn to accept people without judging. Two is respect, because whatever you respect, you attract. Right? So if you respect me, you're not going to manipulate me. Three is understanding, which is what we just talked about. And four is love. And remember, our definition of love is a decision that is built on the commitment to add value without expecting a return. So once there's an element of manipulation, then that's not love anymore.
Yeah, but the other person may not know.
Yeah.
And
That they're being manipulated.
They may not know. You that you're doing it.
Because they're master manipulators in this life.
It's only a matter of time. And you see, when I was taking my badges in NLP, one of the things we were told is, especially when we did hypnosis, we were told that this can be used negatively or positively, and they advised us, make sure you don't use it negatively. Yeah, because you can use it to do anything.
Anything.
Right. So it's the same way with anything in life. Once you have the authentic, you always have the fake. Now it depends
But
on.
then the good thing also is that when you know that there's fake, then you know there's real.
But you know the good thing, even if you manipulate, if you manipulate the person, life has a way of taking that person to a place of awareness. It's only a matter of time. The journey might be long, but if we get to, and when they get to the place of, I mean, there have been people in your life that you can almost say this is God. When the person is talking to you, but you as you grew, because people will grow. You will grow to a level. You don't grow to a level to realize that
What nonsense?
I've left my entire life. I'm now serving.
That,
So people grow, and that's why you don't want people to grow to a level where they now see you for who you are. So now say you're a manipulator. At that point, you can't even
There's no, there's
The-
no,
the
there's
The
no
cheese would
going
have
back.
moved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have other things to talk about, but it can't be today, right? So
Mhm.
at least we've touched on the love languages. We've not actually said what they are. We're going to
We'll
discuss
take that next time,
week.
yeah.
Yes, and we're also going to talk about the steps of love, which is the acceptance, respect, understanding, and love. Is that knowledge you called it?
What's that?
No. He
Four
says
steps
the
of-
4 levels of
Yeah, for
relationship.
level of relationship.
Yeah.
Relationship. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that, and then Bukola's best one,
Yo.
invasion.
Yo.
You know, I mean,
It's so
because I
exciting.
think it's important that we discuss these things because you know it's so easy for us to just throw that "I love you."
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, some people think, "Oh,
I wouldn't
love
even
you."
say it
then
unless I
means that-
mean it.
It then means that he wants something with me. But I can genuinely, like today, I said something to somebody. I said, "I love you," and she said, "Oh, you're so kind." and for me, I'm like, yes. I mean, if that's how you understand it to be, that's okay.
It's
you
the
know?
most needed word that people have been starved of because
Yeah.
they don't know what it is. You know,
Because we've been ashamed to even
connected
to
with
connect
many,
romance.
many years
Yeah.
ago, every time I hear women say, "I want to be loved," I ask them what is love. They don't know.
Some of them is sex.
It used to worry me, trouble me. That how can you be looking for what you don't even
I
know?
don't know.
And that's why it's easy to give them what looks like love.
Yeah, and they'll take
That
it.
that is not love.
But that's also because they're looking at the external, like you said.
It's not just that they're looking at X. Never forget that this is a build-up. Now we're on love. We started from abuse.
Mm.
People have been messed up,
Conditioned, yeah.
traumatized from childhood, that they know no other life.
Yeah.
So whosoever shows a bit of care,
They're full of.
They'll latch on to
that is
person.
an upgrade on what they have ever been used to,
Yeah.
and you can't blame them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, now sounds very heavy, eh?
Yes.
Love was meant to be light.
Love is meant to be light.
and lovely. You know, and now it's like, okay, we're about to get schooled.
Yeah, because you are getting to the
On life
depth of love.
Yes, and I mean the conversation has just started.
Yeah.
Yes. So excited to be back.
Yes, now I mean like I really am happy that we jumped back on today. I'm missing something, but I mean this has made up for it like 1,000 folds for me. So hey, I'm excited to be here. We didn't tell people our names in the beginning.
Oh wow, we just
We're too
assumed.
excited.
We
And so
just
my name is
assumed.
Adiola.
I'm Buki and
I am praise.
and this is
Mr.
Praise, the goal scorer.
Again.
Again.
Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot.
What's wrong with this
Goalie.
people?
And see you again same time next week.
Love
Thank
you,
you, guys.
love
We
you.
love you. We love you.
Where's the music? Where's the music?
We love you.
We love you. Genuinely. See you again next week, guys. Bye.